Alrighty, guys. Good morning out there. Hope everyone's doing good. Glad to have everybody here on this fine morning. We got ourselves a bit of an update here for y'all this morning. Talking about today's later on this afternoon's crazy weather that's expected to kick off here. Anyways, my friends, let's go ahead and see who is here. We've seen TRG. What's up, TRG? Hope you're still doing good, or hope you're still there. Hope you're doing all right. Or if you're still there, hope you're doing all right. We have Lovester, we have Viper, we have Official RY, we have Logan, Rebecca, Bon, Haley, let's see, Kristen. What's up, everybody? Hope everyone's doing good out there. Glad to have everybody here. So, we're just going to go ahead and jump right on into it, my friends. We got ourselves a bit of stuff that we do need to talk about here for today. Overall, we got ourselves a pretty big risk out there for severe weather. We actually are talking a level 3 out of 5 on the severe spectrum. Pretty decent size threat out there. So we're talking obviously areas out here from like Dallas, stretching through Dallas-Fort Worth region in the bullseye here for today. So Dallas-Fort Worth region. We're talking Austin, San Antonio, areas like Waco, who just got hit, just literally the other day. We are indeed talking a pretty big risk out there for severe weather. So we are going to be watching out for that. Now, there is the threat for tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds. And let me actually go ahead and switch you guys over here to the Storm Prediction Center. I'm going to go ahead and break down this risk really quickly for you. Talking about it, they still kept that 5% tornado risk there. So obviously, when it comes to significant tornadoes being EF2 and higher, for the most part, these tornadoes are expected to be below that significant standard. Although I would say personally, I do think a few significant tornadoes could exist today. Because like I said, we do have a pretty strong lower level jet stream, which will support the probability of some tornadoes to potentially some strong tornadoes could occur. But for the most part, it's expected to kind of remain in that zone there. Damaging winds, though, that's a really big concern. I mean, look at this. We're talking a 30% significant risk out there. Now, what that means is that we're basically seeing a 30% chance across the areas here in the red of seeing damaging winds, maybe up to 70 miles an hour or more. Higher wind gusts could be possible. Also, you notice how the East Coast is also highlighted out of that. That's something we're going to look out for. Let's see here. Tabletop with a $2 super chat saying, how is Wilmington today and Sunday? We'll get to you here in a moment. Thank you so much. But when it comes to hail, like I said, obviously kind of the same thing. 30% chance, probably a very, very large threat out there for severe weather regarding hail. And we're talking a 30% chance across the areas here in red of seeing that hail up to 2 inches in diameter or larger. I mean, we're talking some very, very large hail being a good probability out there. Once again, hail could be a possible concern out there towards the east as well. Then that leads me over to Tabletop's question. First of all, once again, thank you so much for the super chat. Greatly appreciate it. So Wilmington, North Carolina, my friends. We're going to go ahead and switch over here to that view. Really quickly, though, let's go ahead and do such now. All right, we're going to move over there. So when it comes to today's outlook, you are in that marginal risk there. So you are in that severe threat level 1 out of 5. So obviously you got to be keeping an eye out there for the possibility for, obviously a few severe storms could be rolling through the region. So level 1, once again, that's a level 1 out of 5 on the threat level for you. Now, when it comes to tornadoes, good news, no chance for tornadoes. Don't got to worry about all that. Possibility for some damaging wind gusts, maybe perhaps up to 60 miles per hour. Kind of seems to be the thing there for you. When it comes to hail, 5% chance, kind of a lower end threat. Whenever it comes to, you said Sunday, there's actually another marginal risk out there for you. I'm going to go ahead and switch over here to the Storm Prediction Center once again for you. Yeah, you can actually see how Wilmington is inside of that marginal risk there for day 3 or for Sunday. So we'll keep an eye on it. We'll definitely keep an eye on it here for today and Sunday. But once again, it's kind of that lower end spectrum. Nothing too too crazy. A few strong to severe damaging storms could occur, but the probability of that happening is fairly low, since you are in a pretty low threat out there. Anyways, let's see here. Let's see. We got a lot of good mornings. Logan says good morning. Good morning, Logan. Rebecca says good morning. Good morning to you as well. Haley says good morning. Good morning, Haley. Let's see. Christian says good morning from Alabama. Good morning, Christian. Hope you're doing good. Bond says good morning, all you as well. Let's see. Rebecca says I'm in the middle of all these storms. Can you give me an insight? Thanks. So, okay. So it depends on where you're at, because there's different levels of severity whenever it comes to today's event. Now, like we were talking about, the biggest threat for today exists across the areas in orange. That orange circle you see there, everywhere inside of that, that's kind of like the bullseye here for today. That's kind of where we are seeing, the biggest chance and the strongest chance for overall severe weather to occur. Now, like I said, this does include some very, very populated areas. So if you know anybody out there towards like San Antonio, moving into Austin, Texas, pretty populated areas. Waco, fairly populated. And then, of course, Dallas, Fort Worth, very populated areas. All of those regions are in the bullseye for today. We're talking the potential for all hazards. Kind of the main concern is actually a mixture between damaging wind gusts, maybe 60 miles an hour. Or sorry, damaging wind gusts, maybe 70 to 80 plus, potentially. And obviously the chances out there for hail as well, potentially 2 inches in diameter. We're talking larger than golf ball, looking quite likely across a lot of these regions here. 30% chance probability within every 25 miles. So that's a pretty big risk out there for hail to be occurring. And like I said, we can actually not forget about the tornado threat out there too. We do have ourselves a 5% chance of tornadoes, which is, it's definitely not the end of the world. I can tell you that. But the biggest chances of seeing tornadoes today does it go across portions here of Dallas, Fort Worth region, Waco, kind of north of Austin. That's kind of where the highest tornado probability is. Everywhere inside the green here, this is a 2% chance for tornadoes within 25 miles of occurring, so very, very low probability overall. Think of it as a 98% chance of it not happening. Then, of course, we have the 5%, which is a higher probability across the brown. That's kind of the biggest area, or kind of the highlight where tornadoes seem most likely for today. So if they were to occur, this is most likely where they would end up. And like I said, Dallas, Fort Worth region, we're kind of in that hot spot there. Not just for hail, damaging winds, but like I said, for the tornado probability as well. We're kind of on the high end spectrum of that there. So that's that. Let's see here. Doc says, yo, from Dallas, Fort Worth. Well, stay safe out there, my friend. Good morning from Texas. Good morning, Nikki. Hope you're doing good. Heather says, hello, hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing good as well. Hi, I'm doing all right. Andrea says, good morning, Andrew. Good morning to you as well. Let's see. Jazz Mom, good morning. Good morning. Let's see here. All right, we're going to go ahead and scroll down to the bottom. Let's see here. Clearing over the enhanced risk area is crazy. Yeah, I was going to talk about that, actually. I actually had it up and ready to go. So let me go ahead and show you guys. So this is the current observation in terms of, the current state of the atmosphere. We have this low pressure system. Let's go ahead and load up the pen here so I can actually draw on the screen. But when it comes to it, I think my pen program is not wanting to work right now. Anyways, but regardless, you can see right in this region, that's where the low pressure system is located. A lot of clearing. Like I said, we're taking a look here at the visible satellite, geocolor here. You can see straight to the ground. When it comes to severe weather, that's a good thing because, like I said, that allows for the surface to be heated up evenly, and that allows for obviously, the ground to be heating up here, and like I said, that warm air starts to rise into that colder environment, and that kicks off storms. So, like I said, that's something we got to look out for. And you can see the winds here in a very obvious counterclockwise kind of rotation here. Which is, once again, showing that, the central low pressure. Central low right now is about 1,005 millibars from what it looks like. Fairly decent low pressure system is currently ongoing. But yeah, we're going to need to really watch out for that, though. Because like I said, as we track our way down in time, that is going to obviously kick up these storms this afternoon into this evening. We're kind of talking, timing maybe around like 2 o'clock Eastern, which, depending on which model you look at. Some models show it earlier and later than others. But like I said, regardless, we'll discuss more of the timing here in a moment and where, which areas can see, what kind of weather at a certain time. But I did want to mention that to you, that there is a lot of clearing, and that's a good sign to showing that this is things severe weather related are already starting off to kind of pull into a good environment, essentially. So that's interesting. Let's see here. All right. What Rebecca says, what about Waco? So Waco does have the biggest risk out there today, as we mentioned before. Whenever it comes to that convective outlook, the overall risk for severe weather out there, they are inside of the biggest risk out there. Now, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and bring out the models for a second. Like I said, we're going to talk about timing. I'll go ahead and pull up a timing estimate here. Once again, models are far from perfect. Let's go ahead and pull up the day one outlook as well. We're going to turn that off from tornadoes to actual outlook. There we go. Yeah, like I said, the biggest risk is across this circle here. The start of the severe weather extends all the way from this line inwards, and everything in here is expected or has a good potential of seeing severe weather. Anyways, let's go ahead and track our way down in time here. So this is the NAM 3-kilometer model. This is a North America model. Very high resolution model, actually. So we track our way down here in time. Look at that. So a big old line really starts to fire off. Now, this is telling me around 3 o'clock Eastern. So this would be around 2 o'clock Central. So the folks out there, around 2 o'clock, we're probably gonna see a tornado watch be issued for areas such as Dallas, Waco, Austin, Killeen, those regions. I'm sure we're gonna see a tornado watch being issued for those locations here. Probably around that time, maybe 2 o'clock or so. But like I said, storms really explode in kind of a linear fashion, kind of a long line of storms, kind of firing off here. According to this model, once again, this is the NAM model, but according to this model in particular, it actually really kind of shows, this line kind of splitting up into two different areas, which is really interesting. We'll go ahead and see if I can restart this pen here. But like I said, it really kind of splits up into two different areas there. That line continues to roll south here, moving into around 8 o'clock or so as the sun starts to go down. We start to cover more of those southern areas in the enhanced risk, that biggest risk there for today. We're talking, storms hitting Austin maybe around like 6 Central here, maybe 6, 7 o'clock estimated. San Antonio maybe around like 8, 9 o'clock or so. So we'll keep an eye on it overall. And like I said, storms as they roll eastward, it looks to be hitting like Corpus Christi maybe around like midnight actually. Here for like tomorrow morning, right there at the midnight line. But overall, this storm is expected to be a mode of a long line to kick off here. And like I said, it's going to be rolling first right through areas like, Dallas, Austin. It looks like, so Houston is inside the risk here, but according to this in particular model, which I find really interesting, is it really does not show much of anything crazy happening for Houston. But like I said, don't take that seriously, because once again, this is just an estimate from a model, and obviously models are not perfect, in which that is when we're going to switch over here to the HRRR. Yeah, now this is another opinion we always like to take a look at whenever the day of, obviously whenever it comes to severe weather. So this is what we call the HRRR, High Resolution Rapid Refresh. It updates every hour, so you're getting like fresh off the press data here. Now, what's really interesting here, the good thing is that between the two models, the first one we looked at and this one we're looking at right now, it really appears to be showing kind of the same timing. These storms may be starting to fire off here, pretty much like southwest of Dallas, essentially. Kind of starting to fire off here maybe in discrete mode, then turning into a line later on, but kind of firing off right around 2 o'clock Central or 3 o'clock Eastern. So that's kind of a thing that we need to look out there for. Tracking away down here in time, storms kind of split up. That's kind of the similarity, between the two models we were just looking at. Is it kind of shows that that split up there, which I really find interesting. Like I said, we were just looking at the other model out there, the NAM 3-kilometer, and it was showing that kind of a split out there towards, the Dallas region, which this HRRR model is also showing pretty much the exact same thing on that. So I find that really kind of interesting. But as we move right to around 7 o'clock Central, we have a well-developed line out there stretching all the way down from, obviously, San Antonio further south, actually tracking all the way through Austin, obviously, heading east here. Now, I want to see what Houston has to show. Okay, so Houston gets a little bit hit harder, or gets hit a little bit harder from this model's perspective rather than the NAM 3-kilometer. Once again, this is the HRRR model, my friends. This is a high-resolution rapid refresh model is what they call it. But yeah, no, it shows that rolling through. And what I find really interesting is even on here, you can actually see according to, holy cow. Yeah, according to the future reflectivity, basically the future radar here, you can actually see how it has a lot of pink ball things here. You see how there's a lot of pink popping up in the middle of these storms? So that, my friends, that is where this model is suggesting a lot of big hail. Wow, upper 60 dBz. So anytime you see values that large from radar scans, that means we're talking big business in terms of either extremely heavy rainfall or obviously some large hail. And in this case, like I said, we do have a very large hail threat here for today. Now, speaking of that hail threat, I wanted to keep a look on the same model, but we're going to switch over to another screen here because on this one in particular, this will show us kind of what we're talking about, maybe estimated hail size here. So let's look at that. Yeah, let's go ahead and bring you all over here to that view really quickly. I want to go ahead and show you and see what this model has to show. This one we actually have timing, so you guys can see in the top. That's in Eastern time, by the way, so just simply subtract an hour for the local time here. So subtract an hour from 8 o'clock, so this would be 4 o'clock Central at this point, but obviously that's later on down in time. Anyways, according to this model, the HRRR in the latest run, it kind of shows maybe the maximum hail size well above 1.25 inches. And like I was saying here, whenever it comes to the expected hail size today, like I said, the Storm Prediction Center has put out a very large risk talking such, in which I'm going to go ahead and show you guys really quickly. We're going to bring y'all over here. Oop, didn't mean to close that one. We're going to bring you guys over here back to the main risk here really quickly. But like I said, we're going to take a look here at something we call a significant hail, or the significant hail risk here. Now, this big circle that this kind of oval, whatever shape it is, basically this area that's circling here, this is the regions where we potentially could see some very large hail. I mean, like I said, we're talking over golf ball size, potentially, being possible today. And once again, like I said, this does include some very, very populated areas, Dallas, Fort Worth region out there, obviously, driving south through Interstate 35 all the way even in through like Waco, Austin, Texas, you guys, Waco, you can see right there inside the risk, Austin, San Antonio, inside the big, the big circle there. So like I said, those are some pretty populated areas, and those are the regions where we are looking at the highest potential, or the greatest potential of seeing the largest hail out in these regions here. Once again, potentially 2 inches in diameter or larger. For reference, a golf ball is 1.75 inches in diameter. So with that being said, we're actually talking some, we're talking some big hail potential. And on top of that, like I said, we're also looking at this. This is the significant wind potential. So, like I said, out of this line, you can see right above my head, as we looked at on the models here, out of this line, there is also going to be a really big problem in terms of damaging wind gusts. So, basically, what the winds could gust up to, the maximum peak winds they could get up to. Now, this is the region also what we call a significant or a hatched risk area, which tells us that there is, in favor of damaging wind gusts, maybe the possibility for 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts or higher. I mean, we're talking maybe even 80 plus. So we're talking some very, very strong winds today being possible. Once again, this does include, Dallas, Fort Worth region, driving down 35. A lot of people out there on Interstate 35, seriously, if you're right there in Interstate 35 between Dallas and South, you're in a big risk out there. Because like I said, we just got to really be looking out for not just hail, not just damaging winds, maybe in a few isolated tornadoes could occur as well. All hazards are on the table here for today. But like I said, once again, for the damaging wind gusts, maybe 70 to 80 plus, could be possible across, Dallas, Fort Worth, Waco, driving south through 35, Austin, once again included, San Antonio, and obviously, all of these regions here, pretty much west of Houston, for the most part. Now, I'm not saying that Houston cannot see any damaging winds or any hail. That's, once again, what we call the significant risk is what we're looking at right now, meaning like the highest tier, essentially, of seeing, large hail and damaging winds. So this is the big area. This is the big area for damaging winds we got to be looking out for. Now, luckily, there is, as of right now, no significant tornado risk, which is great news. But overall, here's the tornado outlook for today whenever it comes to the probability of seeing tornadoes. I know that's probably a big thing that you guys are wanting to hear about here. But when it comes to it, you notice how we have two shades going on. We have ourselves a dark green right here, and we have ourselves a brown that's embedded inside of the dark green. So this is the level 1. This is a 2% chance for tornadoes. So basically every 25 miles across this green area, there's a 2% chance a tornado could fall. So with that being said, very low probability. Is it something to freak out about? Absolutely not. I would keep an eye on local conditions. Obviously as these storms mature later on this afternoon, once again, maybe around like 2 o'clock Central when they're expected to start firing off. Keep an eye on the local weather here. We're going to be doing some coverage possibly later on in the later portion of this event here. But whenever we do, we'll definitely, keep you all updated. But then, like I said, we have this brown area. This is a higher percentage. This is kind of like the biggest area for possible tornadic activity here today. That's kind of like the biggest area, or the most likelihood of seeing that. Once again, we're going to go ahead and zoom into that bigger area. Now, this is a 5% risk. So obviously, we go from the 2 in the dark green to the 5 in the brown. So that's kind of like the bigger risk out there overall. So once again, Dallas is included. Obviously, Fort Worth. We have Waco. We have Austin kind of right there on the line between that 2% risk and that 5% risk out there. So overall, you're kind of stuck between the two different areas. But right now, across Austin, you're majority there in the 2% risk out there. So overall, like I said, tornadoes is not an ultimate likelihood. You have a much greater chance of seeing large hail and damaging winds, rather than tornadoes. Now, like I said, we're probably going to see a few tornado warnings pop off today. And once again, what I believe is going to happen here is probably around 2 o'clock Central Time, so 2 o'clock to you guys, or actually across these regions. We're probably going to be getting a tornado watch somewhere around in these regions. Now, this would likely include Dallas-Fort Worth, likely would include Waco, possibly could include Austin, but majority across the 5% region, that is where they would likely issue a tornado watch. Now, once again, that would probably be around 2 o'clock Central Time. So we are going to be looking out for that. And on top of that, like I said, with that tornado watch, they're probably going to obviously include that big threat for hail and damaging winds. So what's probably most likely going to end up happening here at some point is we're going to be getting a tornado watch somewhere across these regions here. And then ultimately, we might even see a severe thunderstorm watch be extended for the south side. We'll see how that kicks off. I mean, obviously, I'm not the Storm Prediction Center. I can't tell you exactly what they're going to do there. But I tell you what is a good probability, and that is that. So once again, we're likely going to see a tornado watch being issued earlier or later on. For sure, we're definitely going to see a watch of some sort because we're going to need one. Because like I said, we actually have a pretty big risk out there for severe weather today. But we're going to go ahead and switch y'all back over here to, back to the models here. Once again, to kind of discuss the timing out of this here. We're going to go ahead and backtrack here a moment. So to my new friends who's just now joining us, first of all, welcome. Hope everyone's doing good out there. And if you have not already, consider hitting that subscribe button. It'd be greatly appreciated. Turn on post notifications and share this to help spread the word, help get the word out there. But back on the timing here. So whenever it comes to when these storms are expected to fire off and all that fun stuff, we're going to talk about that right now. So once again, we have a level 3 out of 5. So first of all, like I said, there's a scale from 1 to 5, 5 being the worst, and 1 being kind of the lower end for, the lower end chance for severe weather. We're right in the middle of a level 3. So that's a pretty big risk overall. Now, whatever it comes to it, like I said, storms are expected to fire off between multiple models. They're really agreeing at around 2 o'clock Central Time. They're really kind of agreeing around 2 o'clock Central Time. You can see a few little cells starting to pop off here, kind of southwest of Dallas. So a few cells will pop off, but eventually will quickly mature into a long line. Time right here on this view is 5 o'clock on this in particular image here. So it obviously kind of shows, Dallas and them kind of possibly getting hit here maybe between like 3 and 5 essentially. Kind of seems to be a good likelihood. And obviously, like I said, that line's going to continue south. Areas towards Waco probably going to be getting hit maybe around 5 o'clock estimated. Once again, this is not perfect, but this is just a good estimation regarding, possible timing. Around this time, it also does show a little bit of a cell popping off here west of San Antonio. Might got to watch out for that as well. But eventually this whole line just kind of, really kind of fires off here right around sunset, slightly before sunset. We should have a pretty decent stretched line all the way out there going through Austin, probably around, 6, 7 o'clock or so. San Antonio, maybe around like 7, 8 o'clock. So we'll definitely need to be watching out for this. And once again, we are going to be live during a lot of this here for today. As this is just more of like an informational stream, kind of more of an early preview in terms of what we can expect. But overall, that is kind of the timing out of this. But like I said, we track way further down in time, now around 9 o'clock Central, so 9 o'clock local. Storms are now east of the majority of the most populated areas. However, heading in towards areas towards Houston, probably around midnight. So to my friends out there in Houston, you're probably going to get some storm activity maybe around midnight here for tomorrow, early tomorrow morning. So we will continue to watch this as this line does advance its way eastward and eventually rolling its way out into the Gulf of Mexico. Now, this is not going to be the end of it. Now, as we track way down further in time, this is actually going to cause a bit of a severe weather concern tomorrow, too. As well as on, let's see, day 3. So tomorrow is obviously Saturday. Also on Sunday, this could potentially, cause some more severe weather to kick off here, maybe across like the east. But like I said, overall, y'all, that's kind of what we're talking about. I mean, we're talking a pretty, pretty wide margin of territories being impacted by these severe storms here for the next few days, really. Like I said, today, as of now, is forecasted to be kind of the worst day out of the next 3. Tomorrow following second place, obviously. So we're going to be live here tomorrow as well, actually, for severe weather coverage and all that stuff. But once again, yeah, storms are expected to start here maybe around 2 o'clock or so, Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. And like I was saying, somewhere around in that time. Now, is it going to happen right on that second? Probably not. But like I said, it's going to be somewhere around that time. I'd say no later than another hour or two. But like I said, that's kind of what we are seeing here, out of the timing and stuff like that. And once again, developing into this line, really cranking. It looks to be most mature, maybe around like 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern, according to the particular models here. But anyways. But that is that, my friends. I just wanted to go ahead and mention all that to you. And back over here at the surface observations, I just want to take a quick little glance at the current conditions out here in the atmosphere. Once again, this is some very, very important data we're looking at right here because, like I said, this is going to determine how well later on today will perform. So, obviously, current observations is one of the best things we can look at. So at the moment, honestly, it's a little concerning, actually, for severe weather popping off. Now, obviously, you can kind of tell there's Texas, there's a panhandle. Obviously, we go eastern Texas out there, so you just kind of show you where we're at here. So the latest observations has a low pressure system right there on the western side. Obviously, that's where the low is located. Got a lot of strong winds pulling up north, pulling in a lot of warm air from the Gulf of Mexico. Got a lot of cooler air actually pulling down from the north. As you can see how the little barbs are, kind of moving south here. So we're starting to get a bit of rotation kicking off. Now here soon, once again, as we track way down in time, as the surface gets heated up, and that's another thing I wanted to talk about here is that there's a lot of clear skies out there in central Texas. Now what that means is that the surface, the ground is going to be able to be heated up to its maximum potential. As you know, hot air rises in basic thermodynamics. Obviously, whenever it comes to it, that hot air is going to start to rise once that surface gets really heated up by this afternoon. That's why storms usually fire off in the afternoon because it gives time for the surface to heat up. And once it starts to rise in that colder environment, it's going to start condensing and start rising and continuing to rise until it reaches a top in the atmosphere. We call the what is that called? The tropopause. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. The tropopause is basically the layer where it stops, and that's where the top of the thunderstorm would be. Anyways, but yeah, right now, though, on current observations, as we were talking about here, there's a lot of clear skies, which is already telling us, my friends, that we are looking for some good, looking at some good conditions out there for thunderstorm development later on. So that's a first step, heading into this severe weather event. That's looking pretty interesting. How is Lakeside, Florida tomorrow? So, here's the thing. So, for Florida, I'm actually going to bring you all back over here bring you all over to this view here. So, whenever it comes to tomorrow, Florida does actually have a risk for tornadoes. Actually, the same tornado threat here for today anyways, or not for these regions, but the same percentage, the same chance of seeing tornadoes today overall. So tomorrow we got to look out for possible tornadic activity there in Florida. Yet again, we've had a lot of severe weather days over the last few days here in Florida. Actually, the last 2 days. In the last 2 days, we've been seeing severe weather out there in Florida, which is interesting. But here tomorrow, we have more severe weather on the horizon out there. Tornadoes does seem to be a possibility. Once again, that kind of low-end tornado threat, the beginning of that tornado probability starts across the areas here of that dark green. That is a 2% chance of seeing tornadoes every 25 miles. Then, of course, you see the brown. That is a higher probability. That is actually a 5% chance, of seeing tornadoes out there. So that's kind of a highlighted area. Now, this does include areas like, Tallahassee, Apalachicola, Panama City, those regions out there covering a lot of Interstate 10, also 75. So those regions out there, if you're crossing out there, if you guys are going to be doing some traveling tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, just keep that storms in mind, as they will be a possibility, and there could be some tornadic activity out of them. Hail, on the other hand, hail's also a possibility. It's not a really big concern. It's actually the lowest threat, 5% chance out there. And damaging winds is kind of one of the leading concerns. Across the area here in yellow, kind of the same area that we were talking about, the highest tornado threat for tomorrow. These regions out across the yellow, that is the highest chance for seeing damaging winds, maybe perhaps 60 miles an hour or more across some of those regions. So we're going to watch out for it. Anyways. But yeah, now we'll definitely keep an eye out there for Florida tomorrow, as more severe weather, as we mentioned before, does seem to be a possibility. Now, like I said, y'all, there's a scale from 1 to 5 on the severe weather spectrum. The higher the number, the more crazier it could get. And like I said, we have a level 2 for tomorrow. So we're kind of on the lower side of the spectrum, but don't let that fool you, because even the lowest levels of severe weather activity, or even the lowest levels of severe weather threats, can produce some nasty weather. And that's kind of the concern out there. So no matter what level you're in, obviously take it seriously. You're going to want to definitely take it seriously regardless. So we have a level 1, kind of that smallest threat out there. Once again, a 5% chance for severe weather could occur across the areas here in the green. Overall, pretty low probability. Then we have a level 2. Kind of the greatest chance here for tomorrow is across areas here in yellow. So that, once again, that's kind of right where the greatest chance for severe weather is going to be possible. So we'll definitely keep an eye out there for those regions tomorrow. Overall, once again, Florida, also central southern Georgia could be included. Southern South Carolina, kind of towards like Savannah, that's Georgia, but Hilton Head Island, I know that place very well. Grew up going there a lot, so areas here in South Carolina, southern South Carolina, anyways. Southern Alabama too. Obviously areas here towards Mobile, Alabama, included for tomorrow's severe weather risk out there. Southern Mississippi, also eastern Louisiana. New Orleans, east of Baton Rouge for the most part. Although a few thunderstorms could be possible out there towards Baton Rouge, as that's what the light green represents. So this big old light green area represents a possibility for some thunderstorms. Now, not particularly expected to be severe, but overall, it's going to be a possibility for some thunderstorms. Maybe some thunder showers. Overall, it's a possibility, But like I said, tomorrow's threat does not really compare to what we're expecting today. Once again, we have actually a higher level today than we do tomorrow. As you can see across the areas here in that orange, that is what we call an enhanced risk. That is a severe threat level 3 out of 5 on the spectrum. So overall, like I said, that is a pretty big risk out there. That is a pretty good, pretty good possibility out there for seeing severe weather overall. Once again, we have what we call a significant or a hatched risk region for both hail and damaging winds. Here's the hail risk out there for the hatched risk anyways. So every single location that you see circling or inside of this big old circle here, that, my friends, is we call, once again, the hatched risk or the significant risk. And that's telling us across those regions there, we have anywhere from a 15 to a 30% chance of seeing large hail, potentially up to 2 inches in diameter or larger. We're talking literally over golf ball size hail. That could be a possibility out towards those regions. So we'll definitely keep an eye out there for that. So once again, this does include some pretty populated areas. We're going to go ahead and zoom into some of those regions. So once again, we're talking Dallas, we're talking Fort Worth, those regions traveling south here on 35. Obviously, Waco is right in the middle of that mess too for the possibility for large hail. Temple, Texas, Killeen, Texas, going right there through Austin, Texas. Obviously, San Antonio, pretty populated areas out there. And further down south, just before moving into Mexico here, that's kind of where that risk does stretch its way into. So, like I said, big old hail is a possibility out there. Once again, across those regions, we're talking a potential for 2 inches in diameter or larger. So we're talking some very large hail looking possible. Now, the significant wind risk, as we were talking about, here's a second shade, as you're going to see here. So this is the region where we're talking the potential for significant or a hatched risk for very large damaging wind gusts. We're talking a potential of maybe 70-mile-an-hour winds or higher being possible across those regions. So we're talking potential wind gusts, the maximum peaks of winds could be getting up to perhaps maybe up to 70 mile an hour or more out of some of these storms. So overall, like I said, we're gonna definitely be looking out for that. But anyways, we'll definitely keep an eye on it. Let's see here. Jacob says storms will be popping off around 5 in Texas. So according to multiple models, we'll go ahead and bring you all back over here to those real quickly. Here's a good timing regarding the storm activity that's going to be popping off here. But overall, according to this in particular model, which just so happens to be the latest HRRR, which stands for High Resolution Rapid Refresh, one of the good high resolution models out there. So according to this model, it shows a bit of cells, kind of the beginning, the break of the cap at this point, kind of that break in the atmosphere for thunderstorms to fire off, what we call initiation. So that term of initiation, or the storms, are expected to start firing off here, according to this model, around 2 o'clock Eastern. 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. So to my friends out there who's actually at the risk, according to this model, it's showing around 2, 3 o'clock or so. Now, once again, models are not perfect, just letting y'all know, a little bit of a disclaimer, but just saying that that's a good possibility. But I will tell you, there is a lot of support on it, though. Here's actually another high-resolution model. This one's called the NAM3K. And this in particular model supports those storms also starting to fire off here. This is right at 3 o'clock Eastern, so this is right at 2 o'clock Central. So both of the models are supporting that possibility there, of seeing some, the storms starting to pop off there right around 2 o'clock Central. So we'll definitely be on the lookout around that region. I'm probably going to be live here later on in the middle of the event, maybe the later portion of the event here, because, obviously, this live stream in particular here is just to get y'all get y'all prepared, let y'all know what's going on out there. But we'll be likely doing some coverage on this here later on. Now, I will tell you this, though, just because, like I said, obviously Texas is kind of our highlighted area out there today. But just because, also got to mention this as well. Here for today, it's not just Texas. Also southern Oklahoma, southwestern areas of Arkansas, northwestern Louisiana, including Shreveport, possibly at risk for severe weather. But like I said, across the east, got a pretty big old marginal risk out there. That level 1 out of 5, literally stretching all the way down from Miami. Going all the way down from Miami, straight up through Interstate 95, rolling all the way through, obviously, Orlando, kind of keeping out of Tampa there. But once again, Miami, you see Fort Lauderdale will be included with that. Orlando, we're talking, Daytona, Jacksonville, Florida, all those regions, Tallahassee, Florida. We're talking southern, southeastern Georgia, kind of central and eastern South Carolina. A lot of North Carolina here, going through Virginia, West Virginia, and all the way into southeastern Ohio. So, like I said, there's a pretty big risk out there for severe weather today, going all the way from Miami to southern Ohio. So, can't forget to mention that. Although, like I said, it's a pretty low threat. Severe storms are going to be possible, but just kind of a low probability overall. But like I said, obviously, the big area we're going to be really looking out for today is Texas, right there in the central side. Any chance that a tornado risk could be, let's see. Any chance that tornado risk could be upgraded? So, okay, so in my opinion, earlier yesterday, I was kind of thinking that they are probably going to upgrade it to a 10% risk for possible significant tornadoes, or the hatched risk for tornadoes we were talking about. I'll actually turn off this light here. There we go. So what that means is that right now, I don't think they're going to upgrade it. If they would have probably done it around 9 o'clock, about an hour ago. That's the last time this thing has got updated here from the Storm Prediction Center. So I don't think it's going to be upgraded. Although, personally, I do think a few strong tornadoes, if they were to fire off, could occur maybe around areas towards Dallas, if it could happen. A few strong, we're talking EF2 plus, according to the Storm Prediction Center. They don't say that, but what I think, a few of them could go up to that high. But right now, there is no defined risk here from the Storm Prediction Center, which you should follow the Storm Prediction Center. They do not say that significant tornadoes will be really be a concern for today. Kind of more in the lower end of the intensity out there. But personally, like I said, I do think a few of them could be quite strong, potentially. Because like I said, we have a pretty strong lower-level jet stream. A lot of the lower levels have to do with a lot of the tornadic activity out there. But anyways, that's that. Let's see, move out storms. Thunderbirds near to fly this weekend, says Savannah. Well, that sounds like fun. Definitely does. Yeah, we just had thunder over Louisville over here. It's kind of where I'm at. I'm here in Louisville. We actually just had thunder over Louisville over here. Had some cool B-52s. I'm actually wearing my B-52 shirt, which I didn't get it at the place, but I have a B-52 shirt. Pretty cool. Yeah, we had some B-52s fly over, and pretty cool stuff. Definitely some pretty cool stuff. Anyways, y'all. But like I said, you guys, we're going to be watching out for y'all today. We're going to make sure you guys are staying on top of this here. We'll definitely keep an eye on it. Let's see. Todd says, does the Gulf of Mexico or the Great Lakes decrease or strengthen a developing tornado? So the Gulf of Mexico is a very important factor for severe thunderstorms and, yes, including tornadoes. So this is, the Gulf of Mexico down here. This supplies these storms with the moisture, the warm air. So obviously this is closer down to the equator down here. There's a lot more heating occurring. Like I said, there's a lot of evaporation of the water occurring, turning into water vapor. And all that water vapor rolls its way inland. And whenever a low pressure system starts, it actually pulls up a lot of that warm moisture air and kind of rotates it and mixes it in with colder air coming up from the north. And obviously that creates that cycle for severe weather to kick off. So, yeah, definitely. Let's see. Good morning. My daughter in Georgia would like to know if anything's going on severe weather-wise. So the only area here in Georgia that has a threat for severe weather is kind of the southeastern side. But you give me a zip code. We'll take a look at that. So you said for 31201. 31201. In Macon, Georgia. Okay, so Macon, Georgia, the good news is it does not have a risk out there for severe weather, so you're good. Although a few thunderstorms could occur. Like I said, the environment is primed for the possibility of a few thunderstorms possibly occurring, but overall, I think we're looking pretty good. Yeah. No, I don't think we're going to have any concerns for any, damaging storms or anything like that out there. I think that we're, relatively good for those regions. Todd says, thank you, Andrew. No problem. Anytime. Anytime, my friends. But like I said, we're going to be here, y'all, to make sure, y'all are staying safe out there and stuff like that. What's up, Moo? Good morning. Good morning to y'all out there. But overall, you guys, like I said, today is definitely looking like a pretty interesting day out there overall. I'm going to go ahead and switch y'all back over here to the current observational view here, as you guys can see real quick. So right on this map here, you notice there's a lot of clearing, a lot of clear skies out there in central Texas. Now, that's going to do one thing, and that's going to help thunderstorms later on by obviously heating up the ground. So we're going to be seeing a lot of the sun, or obviously the radiation from the sun is going to be heating up the surface. That hot air this afternoon is going to start to rise. And with that being said, we're going to start getting some convection to start. We're going to start getting a lot of that severe thunderstorm activity that's going to start popping off. Obviously, we have ourselves, a cold front that's going to develop here as well, obviously, from this low pressure system that we're already currently seeing. We can already see that counterclockwise rotation, which you see in low pressure systems already occurring. Central low is located right here. Obviously, you can see these winds pointing up north, kind of in this direction, and up here you can see them pulling down south. So we are having a bit of rotation out of there. Let's see, so I shouldn't drive to San Antonio and Dallas this afternoon. I would not recommend it because both of those areas do have a pretty big risk out there for severe weather today. Yeah, like I said, both of those regions, you said San Antonio, which you can see right there, and Dallas. Between both of those regions, a lot of 35. I mean, most of 35 throughout Texas will be a big problem. Yeah, like I said, obviously that will kind of be a big problem throughout 35. So, like I said, a lot of 35. If you're traveling on 35 today, basically, between Dallas and obviously, south of San Antonio, I would highly be cautious and obviously stay weather aware out there. Obviously, keep your radar up. Obviously, making sure you can see what's going on out there in the sky. But like I said, 35. A lot of these areas in Central Texas, though, we're talking some pretty big potential out there today. Once again, main concerns today. I mean, we're talking like damaging wind gusts, 70 mile an hour or more. We're also talking about the potential there of even some large hail, 2 inches in diameter or larger. We're talking like literally golf ball size hail and larger could be a good possibility out there for today. In which right now, according to the actual risk that we have from the Storm Prediction Center, we have ourselves a 30% chance for large hail out there. So that's what we call the hatch risk, that little black netted area. That's the big area. The potential for some very, very large hail out there. So we're going to really need to watch those regions. Once again, here's the significant winds, kind of looking the same. That's the region where we're talking, maybe the potential there of damaging wind gusts, 70 plus, as we were discussing. I mean, even higher, could theoretically be possible out of this. So just, like I said, just got to look out today. Today is mostly a hail and damaging wind concern, but on a really big level. Also, once again, tornadoes are not ruled out. There's actually 2 levels of tornadoes today, with the highest level of tornadic activity being kind of near Dallas and a little bit south of Dallas. Kind of expected to be where the largest threat is located out there, but we'll watch it. But like I said, in terms of things leading up to the severe weather activity right now, y'all, like I said, with all that clearing that we have going on across central and west central Texas, all of that's going to eventually lead into some very nasty thunderstorm activity that's going to start firing off here. So, like I said, I mean, if y'all, once again, if y'all live across like east central Texas, I mean, really would keep an eye on it today. Which things are already lining up to looking pretty, pretty interesting looking out there. Yeah, we also got this low pressure system over the Ohio Valley right now, currently located over Kentucky, right where I'm at. So I'm currently experiencing that. Bit of breaks in clouds actually starting to occur, it looks like. So kind of better weather out there for me, but it's not going to be much of the same out there later on for the South, But once again, like I said, do not forget to mention, even though, like I said, we mostly talked about Texas here, there's actually a risk for severe weather otherwise, too. All the way from Miami, all the way up to southeastern Ohio. So, little threat for severe weather out there. So, we'll watch it. Let's see here. Carol says, subscripted. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Rachel says, like and subscribe. Thank you, guys. Very sweet of y'all. Let's see. To San Antonio from Dallas, thanks. Same put. Sounds good. Yeah, just watch out for today. Like I said, today's expected models are really pointing towards a line here. Like I said, basically we call it squall line or a QLCS. That's the fancy weather term. We call it QLCS. Breaking that down, quasi-linear convective system. I know it's a big old crazy word to say there, but like I said, according to the models here, I mean, here's the NAM 3-kilometer model. This is one in particular run, showing these storms popping off around 2 o'clock here in Texas. Then obviously, as we kind of start maybe a few cells, here and there, but ultimately this would turn into this big old line of storms, as you can kind of see rolling through. So, like I said, we got to watch out for that line there, because once it develops that line status, that's when damaging winds are going to be prioritized. That's also when the hail is going to be prioritized too. So, like I'm saying, I mean, we're talking widespread, significant wind damage being possible out of this line here. Once again, we have a level 3 out of 5 today, y'all. On the spectrum of severity, like I said, the scale goes up to 5 from the Storm Prediction Center. We're at a level 3, so we're talking pretty big risk out there. Let's see here, but yeah. Let's see, thanks for the warning from Texas, Hill Country. It says Dixie. No problem. Anytime, y'all. Yeah, like I said, that's the point of the live stream here. Is obviously keep y'all informed, keep y'all aware of the situation here. This is all about situational awareness. Obviously to help keep y'all prepared, for these systems out there. Like I said, we're going to try to do some coverage here later on while the storms are popping off. Probably in its line state, so I'm going to probably pop on here maybe around 6 Eastern or so. I'm going to be here late, kind of not for the beginning of the event, maybe for the later portion of the event. We're gonna do a little bit of coverage on it. But just to let you all know what's going on inside of the storms, as they're currently happening and all that stuff. It's going to be much needed. Now, according to the model here, yeah, you can kind of see how it shows a few little pop-up cells, all across the east here. So overall, the chances of you specifically across the East Coast, I mean, if you're across the East Coast here, the chances of, across that marginal risk out there, once again, from southeastern Ohio all the way down to Miami, pretty large area. Chances, although severe weather is possible, it's very unlikely. Just considering the size, basically just considering the fact that, these cells are very isolated, very spread apart from one another, which that obviously lowers, your chances specifically of seeing that. Anyways, what is the possibility of a tornado occurring today? Give your personal opinion, not Storm Prediction Center. I think it's a good possibility. Personally, I think there should be a little 10% risk here, maybe towards areas south of Dallas. According to multiple models, it did show a pretty strong, what we call lower level jet stream. Strong winds towards the ground level, which is going to be potentially producing some maybe some strong tornadoes. They don't seem to really buy with that though. They have not put anything out there significant related. So, but that's that. But we mostly go off of that. Why does anyone live in Texas? It's too hot. 60-40 chance of having a tornado affect you over and over. Pretty much. Yeah, honestly, I kind of wonder the same thing sometimes. I do kind of wonder the same thing sometimes. But, I mean, severe weather is obviously, yeah, I mean, Texas gets majority of them, majority of tornadoes, actually. I mean, that's just because of its sheer size, you know. I mean, Texas is one of the biggest states in the U.S. But I hear you, though. Let's see here. But, yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy stuff out there. Anyways, y'all, but once again, you know, storm's probably going to be firing off here maybe around 2 o'clock or so, so we'll keep an eye on it. We'll continue to watch out for this here. If y'all have any further questions, feel free to join our Discord, y'all. We got our Discord down in the description. If you want to submit any photos of the severe weather today, tag us on Twitter at NWW1162. Also, if you have not already, consider hitting that subscribe button, y'all. Be greatly appreciated. Once again, thank you all so much for joining us. You guys absolutely rock out there, and, you know, it's great to have you guys here. Slug says because it's Texas. Yeah, that is true. But once again, you guys, you know, as this system rolls through, obviously it's going to eventually reach the East Coast here. And then obviously, you know, throughout tonight into tomorrow, this whole entire disturbance here, you see it rolls off of Texas, but it's going to come back into the United States here for tomorrow as well as, let's see, Sunday. So tomorrow and Sunday, so Saturday and Sunday, this threat for severe weather is going to be continuing across the southeast out there. But yeah. Let's see. Thanks again. We don't have local news stations out here. No problem. But yeah. No problemo. Let's see. Great stream as usual. Be aware where you are in the storms, y'all. Have a great day. You too, Savannah. Thank you. Thank you for that. Greatly, greatly appreciated, y'all. So thank you so much. James says, I love you in WW. Well, thank you. Like I said, we're here for y'all. We got you. All right, so once again, y'all, if y'all have any final questions here, feel free to let us know here. I think we're going to conclude this morning stream here very soon. So, like I said, we've already talked about most of the stuff we need to talk about. So if there's anything specifically you would like to hear about, feel free to leave a comment down below. We'll let you know what's going on there. Once again, if you're heading out here, consider hitting that subscribe button on the way out so you guys stay posted. Be greatly appreciated. Helps out the channel, helps spread awareness, obviously, and that's the whole point of this stream here is to help keep everybody prepared and keep everyone safe out there. Anyways, I also do want to say, you know, I'm not trying to sound, you know, greedy or anything, but this is how I make my living. And if you guys would like to support what we do, you know, more than just subscribing, we do have our donations. We have our $sign, as you can see in there in the chat. You know, you can send a few dollars if you would like to help out, help support the cause, help pay for the programs, and help me out because this is like what I'm doing now and stuff like that. But that's if you would like to, like I said, it would be greatly appreciated. But just saying. Let's see, Indiana anytime soon. Indiana does not have any risk here for severe weather anytime soon. So we're good. We're good. If you're in Indiana, you're pretty much fine right now. The only area near Indiana I would really watch out, like I said, today, there is a small chance across southeastern areas of Ohio for the possibility of a few severe thunderstorms. So we'll watch out for it. Let's see here. Oh, Moo, thank you with the $2 super chat. Cute little fox. Oh, thank you so much, Moo. Greatly appreciate it. Said, sorry I missed streams lately. No worries. Well, thank you, Moo. Very, very sweet of you. Thank you so much. But anyways, y'all. But like I said, if there's anything else we can do for you, we'll be here. Let's see. Will there be another live when it hits Texas? Yes. Most likely, anyways. I will try my hardest to go live here later on this evening. Absolutely. See, I'm glad Connor woke me up to catch you in the stream. I hear you. Is this a tornado or a storm? there's going to be storms capable of producing tornadoes today, mostly across, or pretty much across Texas, only across Texas. But yeah. Alrighty, well, you guys, once again, thank you all so much for joining us. That's going to go ahead and conclude our live stream here for now. Like I said, if you guys did enjoy it, once again, hit that subscribe button, leave a like. Be greatly appreciated. Once again, thank you all so much for being here. You guys absolutely are very much appreciated. Perhaps share this with a friend or family too. Help spread the word. Maybe post to Facebook. Send it on Twitter. All that stuff. It'll really help out, guys. It really does. And obviously, the more people we can reach out there, the more lives we can save. And that's, once again, obviously the main thing we're going to be doing on this channel here is what we've been doing, is help saving as many lives as possible. But all right, well, y'all, once again, take care. We'll be back live here later on, so make sure you turn on post notifications too. That way, you guys receive you guys receive notifications as we do end up going live out there. All right, but like I said, y'all, if you have any final questions, feel free to throw them down. I will try to, answer them, or mostly in what I should have said is in Discord. Join our Discord out there if you have anything that you want to, if you want to say anything out there. If there's any questions you might have, it's there in the description and all that fun stuff. But all right, well, y'all take care. Once again, thanks so much for joining, all of y'all. Once again, we love y'all out there. Please stay safe later on, and we will catch you guys here later on. Peace out, my friends. Love y'all. Stay safe out there.
Flood warning in effect from Saturday morning to Sunday morning. Minor flooding is forecast. The areas affected include Cowleach Fork Sabine River at Greenville. The hazardous weather conditions are expected from Saturday morning to Sunday morning. Impact.